A single hug can make a woman fall for you, or make her never want to see you again. And here is the terrifying part. Most men have absolutely no clue which one they are doing. Through my years of research into emotional dynamics and physical communication between men and women, I have found that humans form a physical comfort judgment about someone within the first 4 seconds of touch. 4 seconds. That means by the time your arms close around her, the verdict is already in. And if you are making any of the mistakes I'm about to walk you through today, she has already mentally filed you under never again. But here is what makes this even worse. The number one hugging mistake men make is something almost every single guy does. And he thinks it is actually charming. I am saving that one for last. Because when I tell you what it is going to change how you approach every woman from this point forward. I am Liz Rose, a relationship expert, author, and researcher of emotional dynamics between men and women. For years, I have studied attraction, male behavior, emotional intelligence, and the patterns that bring people together or drive them apart. Today, I want to share with you what I've learned through my research, my professional experience, and the thousands of stories I have encountered throughout my journey. So, let me set the stage here. You are at a party, a date, a casual meetup, maybe even just greeting a friend of a friend. The moment comes, she opens her arms or you open yours, and the hug happens. Simple, right? Two humans wrapping arms around each other. Babies do it. Grandmothers do it. It should not be complicated, except it is. Because a hug is not just a hug, not to a woman. To us, a hug is a full body scan of who you are. I know that sounds dramatic, but stay with me because everything I have observed in my research backs this up completely. In my years of studying human connection and emotional communication, I have come to understand that touch alone can broadcast at least 8 distinct emotions: gratitude, love, fear, disgust, sympathy, anger, happiness, and sadness. 8 emotions through one single touch. So when you hug a woman, you are not just saying hello, you are broadcasting a message. And most men are accidentally broadcasting the wrong one. Now, I am not here to make anyone feel bad. I am here because once you understand what not to do, the right way becomes almost effortless. And honestly, some of these mistakes are going to make you laugh, because you have either done them yourself or watched someone else do them and cringed from across the room. But before I get into the full list, I need to tell you about something that happened to a woman I know, because her story is the perfect example of how one hug can change everything, and not in the way you would hope. She had been talking to this guy for weeks, texting every day, great chemistry online, funny, confident, everything she wanted on paper. They finally meet up for coffee. The conversation flows. He is even better in person. She is thinking, okay, this might actually be something. End of the date? They stand up and he goes in for the hug. And what happened in the next 3 seconds completely killed every ounce of attraction she had built over 2 weeks of conversation. She described it to me that night. Her exact words were, "I physically recoiled." What did he do? I will tell you exactly what he did. But not yet, because his mistake is number 6 on my list, and I need you to hear the others first so you understand why that one is so devastating. Let us get into it. Mistake number 1, the dead fish. This is the hug where a man's arms go around a woman, but there is absolutely zero commitment behind it. His hands barely touch her back. His body stays rigid. There is a visible gap between his torso and hers, like he is trying to hug her through an invisible force field. Here is why this is such a problem. When a woman receives this hug, the message she gets is not, he is being respectful. The message is, he does not actually want to touch me. And that creates an instant feeling of rejection, even if she was not romantically interested in him. Nobody wants to feel like hugging them is a chore. From everything I have studied about physical connection, meaningful touch reduces emotional tension and increases feelings of genuine social support. But the key word is meaningful. A limp, half-committed hug does not trigger that response. It actually does the opposite. It creates awkwardness and a quiet, unnamed tension because both people feel that something was off, but neither one says anything about it. So if you are going to hug someone, commit. You do not have to squeeze the life out of her. I will get to that next. But your arms should actually make contact. Your hands should rest on her back, not hover like you are afraid she is made of porcelain. Be present in it. A half hug is worse than no hug at all. Mistake number 2, the human hydraulic press. Now we swing to the opposite extreme. This is the guy who hugs a woman like he is trying to merge their skeletal systems. His arms lock around her like a vice grip. She cannot breathe. Her feet might actually leave the ground. And he holds it while she is tapping his shoulder the way a fighter taps out in the ring. I understand the intention. He is trying to communicate warmth, enthusiasm, maybe even affection. But what he is actually communicating is that he has no awareness of her physical comfort. And that is a red flag the size of a billboard. In my research into emotional dynamics, I have found that the ideal hug duration sits around 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That is long enough to feel warm and connected, and short enough that nobody is feeling trapped. Here is something men often misunderstand. Physical strength in a hug does not translate to emotional connection. It translates to dominance. And when a woman feels physically overpowered in what should be a casual greeting, her nervous system does not think, "Oh, how strong and protective." Her nervous system begins a threat assessment. That is not the chemical reaction you want to trigger. Mistake number 3, the body slap. Oh, this one. This is the hug where a man wraps his arms around a woman and then pats her on the back like he is burping an infant. Pat, pat, pat. Sometimes it is rapid fire, like he is sending a Morse code message that says, "This is platonic." I repeat, this is platonic. Now, is this the worst thing in the world? No. But if you are hugging a woman you are interested in, this is basically hanging a neon sign that says friend zone and plugging it in yourself. From everything I have observed in my work with men and women, the back pat during a hug is one of the most universally recognized signals of platonic intent. The man who does this is actually trying to ease his own discomfort with the intimacy of the moment by breaking it up with rhythmic tapping. It is his subconscious saying, "Okay, this is close enough. Time to bail." Women notice this. We always notice this. And if she was hoping for a moment of genuine warmth, what she got instead was a hug that felt like a teammate congratulating her after a company softball game. If you want to convey that you are comfortable, confident, and that you actually enjoy being close to her, just let your hands rest still on her back. No percussion necessary. Mistake number 4, the GPS hands. All right, I need to talk about this one because it is the mistake that makes women tell their friends about you, and not in the way you want. This is the hug where a man's hands start in a perfectly acceptable location, upper back, mid back, and then they start traveling south, slowly, like his hands have a mind of their own, and that mind has a very specific destination. I should not have to explain why this is a problem. But here is why it is actually worse than most men realize. It is not just uncomfortable. It turns what should have been a warm human moment into something that feels calculated and invasive. Even if that was not the man's intent. Even if his hands just drifted without him thinking about it, the impact is the same. In the thousands of stories I have encountered through my work, unwanted physical contact during a hug is one of the most commonly cited experiences that women describe as deeply unsettling. It does not matter how charming he was before that moment. That one drift undoes everything. Keep your hands where they land. If they land on her upper back, they stay on her upper back. If they land on her mid-back, they stay on her mid-back. Your hands are not tourists. They do not need to see the sights. Mistake number 5, the sidearm deflector. This is the one-arm side hug, and context matters here, so let me explain. A one-armed side hug is perfectly appropriate in certain situations. You are greeting a colleague at a work event. You are saying hello to someone you barely know. Totally fine. But here is where it goes wrong. When a woman opens up for a full hug, arms wide, body facing you, clear invitation, and a man gives her the one-arm side treatment, it feels like a demotion. It feels like she offered warmth and received a corporate handshake with extra steps. What I have observed consistently in my research is that mismatched physical greetings create an immediate and real sense of social rejection. When someone offers a higher level of warmth than they receive in return, the brain processes it similarly to verbal rejection. It stings, even when she cannot explain exactly why. So read the room. If she is offering a full hug, match her energy. That detached one-arm maneuver does not make you look aloof and mysterious. It makes you look like you are afraid of her. Mistake. Chapter 6. The smell check. Remember the story I told you at the beginning. 2 weeks of incredible chemistry, a first meeting that was going perfectly, one hug that destroyed everything. Here is exactly what happened. He hugged her, and it was actually a decent hug. Good pressure, good duration, hands in the right place. But then, right at the end, right before he pulled away, he buried his nose in her hair and took a long, audible inhale, like he was sampling a wine at a vineyard, like he was a critic taking careful notes. And I know some of you reading this are thinking, but women smell good. What is wrong with appreciating that? And in an established relationship, in a genuine moment of intimacy, that can actually be a beautiful thing. I understand that. But on a first meeting, when she does not know you well enough to feel safe with that level of closeness, it is invasive. It crossed a boundary she did not even know she had until he crossed it. She told me she felt like she was being inspected, not welcomed, not held, inspected, and no amount of great conversation could undo that feeling. They never went out again. The lesson here is not that you should suppress your attraction. The lesson is that intimacy has a sequence, and skipping steps makes the other person feel unsafe. A first hug should communicate warmth and respect, nothing more. The deeper things come later, after trust is built, after comfort is established, after she actually wants you that close. Mistake number 7, the hug that does not end. 3 seconds. I mentioned it earlier, and it matters more than you might think. But some men treat a hug like it is an open-ended reservation. They will not let you leave. The hug starts normally. 3 seconds pass. Fine. 5 seconds. Okay, getting long. 7 seconds. She starts to pull away. He does not release. 10 seconds. She is now performing a series of subtle escape maneuvers. The lean back, the arm drop, the slight turn. And he is still holding on, eyes closed, completely unaware that this hug has entered hostage negotiation territory. Here is why this feels so deeply unsettling. When someone initiates a physical separation and the other person does not reciprocate, it triggers a loss of control response. She no longer feels like a willing participant. She feels trapped. And that feeling, regardless of how innocent his intentions are, is one that women do not forget. Always let her be the one to set the release point. The moment you feel her begin to pull back, you pull back immediately. No hesitation. This communicates something incredibly attractive, that you respect her autonomy, that you are paying attention to her signals, that you are not desperate for contact. Those 3 things, by the way, are exactly what builds the kind of trust that leads to longer, more meaningful moments later on. Mistake number 8, the premature. Hug timing is everything in life. And it is especially everything in physical contact. The premature hug is when a man goes in for a full embrace before any real comfort has been established. They just met. They shook hands 5 minutes ago. They have exchanged maybe 12 sentences. And now he is swooping in like they survived something together. Not every greeting requires a hug. Not every woman wants to be hugged by someone she just met. And assuming that she does is not confidence. It is presumption. From my years of observing the emotional patterns between men and women, I have seen consistently that premature physical contact from someone unfamiliar significantly increases a woman's discomfort, even when the man's intentions are completely innocent. Rapport has to be built first. Comfort has to exist before closeness is offered. When in doubt, let her initiate. If she opens her arms, go for it. If she extends a hand, shake it. If she gives a small wave from 2 feet away, wave back. Match her level. This is not about being passive. It is about being perceptive. And perception, genuine attentiveness to another person, is one of the most quietly attractive qualities a man can have. Mistake number 9, the look away, hug. This one is subtle, but it is deeply telling. This is the man who hugs a woman while his eyes are scanning the room. He is looking over her shoulder at the television. He is making eye contact with someone across the bar. He is checking his phone over her back. Yes, I have actually encountered this. The message it sends is devastating, even though it is never said out loud. You are not important enough for my full attention, not even for 3 seconds. A hug should be a micro moment of genuine presence. When you hold someone, even briefly, your attention should be on that interaction and nothing else. You do not need to stare into her eyes during the hug. That would be a different kind of unsettling. But you should be mentally present. Checked in. There. She can feel the difference. I want you to trust me on this. She can always feel the difference. Mistake number 10. The narrated hug. I saved a lighter one for near the end, because after everything we have covered, a little laughter is earned. The narrated hug is when a man provides live commentary during the embrace. Oh, come here. There we go. Oh, you give good hugs. I needed this. Sir, you have known each other for 11 minutes. Verbal affirmations are wonderful inside of a real relationship. But when you narrate a hug with a woman you are not yet close to, it transforms a simple, natural gesture into a performance. It makes her hyper-aware of the physical contact in a way that feels loaded and heavy. Like, there is a meaning being attached to the moment that she did not sign up for. Just hug. Let the silence be comfortable. The hug itself is the communication. It does not need subtitles. Here is where we land after all of this. A hug is one of the simplest, most natural forms of human connection on the planet. It predates language. It predates culture. It predates every social construct we have ever built. And yet, so many men turn it into a minefield because they are either overthinking it or not thinking about it at all. The thread running through every single mistake I just covered is the same thing. A lack of awareness. Awareness of her comfort. Awareness of her signals. Awareness of the moment itself. And here's the beautiful irony. The moment you become aware of these things, the hug becomes effortless. You do not need a checklist. You do not need to rehearse. You just need to pay attention to the person in front of you and respond to what she is actually communicating, not what you wish she were communicating. When a man gets this right, when his hug is warm without being overwhelming, confident without being aggressive, present without being performative, something shifts in the interaction. She feels safe, she feels seen, and that combination is so rare that she will remember it long after the hug ends. That is the real power of doing something simple with genuine intention. Now, everything I shared with you today is about the physical side of how men misread women. But here is what most men never discover. You can master the perfect hug, say all the right things, and do everything correctly on the surface, and still lose her. Why? Because women are not loyal to what you do for them. They are loyal to one thing, one single thing. And when you understand what that thing is, every interaction you have with women, hugs, conversations, relationships, suddenly makes sense in a way that nothing else has before. I broke it all down in the video on screen right now. It is called Women Don't Care What You Do for Them. They Are Loyal to One Thing Only. If today's video opened your eyes even a little, that one is going to feel like someone handed you the entire blueprint. Go watch it now.